think everyone was really excited about this, including myself. So when it was announced, everyone was like, you know what I mean? Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I'll be talking about the Otome games that were announced for localization by Aksys recently. Oh my god, I am so hyped, I'm not gonna lie, so I had to make this video like as soon as possible to, release all the hype. But yeah, what I'll be doing is I'll be quickly kind of summarizing what the game is about, and then updating you with the release dates that they kind of provided us for the games that were previously announced as well. But anyway, let me start. So first up is Shuuen the Virche. Shuuen the Virche is a very dark game, and you can probably tell from the aesthetic it's like really red. It's black and red emo style, and yeah, just despair is the best way to describe it. But it's about this main character, Ceresu, who lives on this island country that is sort of cursed, or it's considered cursed, because everyone there ends up dying by the age of 23. So, but as a result of that, people have learnt to kind of accept this and live with it. And in order to do this, they've come up with this reliver technology where you would download your memories onto a machine, and then you would make a clone of yourself, and then you would then put the memories that you've downloaded onto the clone, and so you kind of continue living. But of course it's not truly yourself, and there are issues that happen, but it's basically about this main character who not only lives in this depressing land, but is also called the death god, because for some reason people who spend time around her ends up kind of for unforeseen circumstances, like strangely enough, end up dying around her. So people don't really want to hang out with her so much. It's actually quite depressing. But one day, a huge mass murder happens, and she comes across this situation, and everyone blames her, as you'd expect, because she's this death god according to people. And so she's in despair, which is when the guardian of the dead, I think is what they refer to him, comes along and says that if you manage to figure out why in this country everyone dies before the age of 23, then I will turn you into a normal girl. And that's basically how this game starts. And all of the characters are very unique, and they all have their issues, and it's horror, some of the roots. So yeah, but I think everyone was really excited about this, including myself. So when it was announced, everyone was like, you know what I mean? It's just everyone was so hyped. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next one. This one I have not played. It's called Norn9. The first one's called Var Commons, and the second one is called, I think, Last Era, was it? Basically, it's a fan list. And from what I have looked into it, Norn9 is about this boy who ends up time traveling randomly back into what seems to be the Taisho period, and ends up on this ship called the Norn9, I think, or Norn, and which is floating above like Taisho era Japan, and he ends up being on this ship with a bunch of other people with special abilities. So this is a very like sci-fi kind of game. I mean, I haven't actually played a game with time slip in it, so this will be a really interesting one for me. I have heard that a lot of people say that they wish they could wipe their mind and play it all over from the beginning, because you discover little bits and pieces of secrets that then all come together towards the end, and I love that sort of thing. So when I heard this, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to play it. So I'm really hyped about that, although I'm not gonna lie, I'm not quite sure how it's going to work, because it starts off with a boy ending up time traveling, which makes it sound like the boy's the main character. but then there are 3 female main characters that you can play. So is it like the prologue is him ending up time traveling and onto the ship, and then it suddenly switches to whichever girl you pick to be a main character? I'm not sure, but you know, there's a lot of mystery surrounding this, and I am very much looking forward to it. And I've heard the 3 main characters are really different as well, so I'm sure there'll be one that really sticks. And there is going to be a lot of routes. I think there's 9, so I can imagine this being one of those with a high replayability. Now, third, this is the last one that was announced, is Radiant Tale. So I have only played the common route of this game so far, but it was very recently released in Japan. So I'm actually like, wow, we're already getting a localization. That's crazy. But it's about this main character, Tifalia, who wants to live just like a really ordinary life, you know, like just average, normal, nothing strange, just peaceful and happy. However, of course, this doesn't continue. She encounters these circus members who are trying to make people of different parts of the country smile and like bring great joy to them in order to help the prince, because what's happened is, for a variety of reasons, the prince has frozen his heart and is in this almost comatose like state. And what the circus are trying to do is they're trying to go to these different locations and making people smile, because then it makes this flower, this special flower bloom, and by that flower blooming, it actually brings warmth to the prince's heart, and then therefore gradually helps him improve and kind of heal almost. And one day Tifalia ends up being recruited, and she doesn't really want to, but her aunt's like, look Tifalia, you can't just stay in one place the whole time, you need to adventure. That's what your parents would want, almost. And yeah, she's like, okay, and she, you know, goes on an adventure with these circus members. From the common route, I feel it's very fantasy, it's really happy, it's like super cute. I absolutely adored it. It was kind of like the teary moments, but it was so upbeat. So I think it's really good that you've got Shuuen no Virche, which is one of the most depressing games you can come across, where you have to play the bad endings before you can even play the good endings. And then you've got Radiant Tale, which, as far as I can tell so far, is incredibly happy and brings warmth to your heart. And yeah, I've heard there are sadder moments in each of the routes, but I think it's one of those games where you just feel really like happy at the end of it. At least that's what I'm thinking anyway. But yeah, so that concludes introducing the titles that were announced. Moving on to the release dates, which I have made notes here because I am very forgetful. So first up, we have got 1926. So Piofiore 1926, the fan disc that was announced last year. This is now going to be released on the 8th of September. Paradigm Paradox is another game that was released last year. It's sci-fi type game, I think, about magical girls. I'm sure many of you probably know what I'm talking about. That's going to be released in October. And then you've got Lover Pretend, which is about the girl who has to pretend to be lovers with the different allies. That's going to be coming out in December this year. And then of course you've got Winter's Wish, which so far had been planned for just 2023, we weren't sure. Well, we've been told it's gonna be released sometime in spring. So that kind of concludes the news that we received that's Otome related from Aksys. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I just can't contain my excitement. Virche is like one of my favorite games, honestly, my favorite Otome games. It's up there. And Radiant Tale, it's so beautiful. I'm sure you've seen like the graphics when they released the PV. I remember going, like, the teaser film, whatever it's called, I was like, oh my god, this is so cute, this is so pretty. What is that puffball? I love puffballs. So the fact that that's being localized as well is so exciting. And then you've got Norn9, which has been in my mind for a while. I've been really wanting to play it. It was out in the PS Vita, but, you know, I think, yeah, obviously I hadn't heard like too much about it, so it was kind of being pushed to the side. But now that it's being localized, I'm like, okay, when it comes out I need to buy it, because yeah, there aren't many sci-fi games out there, you know, sci-fi Otome games. A lot of them seem to be more fantasy or but yeah, I definitely will need to check that one out, because the concept of 3 main characters sounds interesting as well. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. As is always the case, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I'll see you in another one of my videos. Bye!